Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven, and tonight, whenever the heck you're watching this, we are getting into the top 6 types of bourbons that you need in your collection. And these are just the top 6 types that I think you need to kind of well round out your collection, to have a very comprehensive type bourbon collection, one where you can taste all the different kinds of bourbons out there. Maybe not all of them, but these are the top 6 that I think you need. But of course, before we get in today's video, please do me that favor. Like, comment, and subscribe. Helps us out a ton, as well as a word from today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by ZBiotics. If you have ever skipped the gym after a night of drinking, just like I do about every single week right after my live streams, well then you need ZBiotics. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. Just remember to drink ZBiotics before you drink alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Try ZBiotics for yourself today. Go to zbiotics.com/tipsy, use a QR code down there, and use the code TIPSY at checkout to get 15% off on your first order. Also, ZBiotics is 100% money back guaranteed. So if for whatever reason you are unsatisfied, they will refund you, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/tipsy and use the code TIPSY at checkout to get 15% off your first order. Thank you again, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this video, but let's get back to it. So let's get right into today's video with the types of bourbons you need in your collection. And of course, it should go without saying, there are so many other types, more than 6, that I'm not covering in this video. Those are just the ones I don't think are as important or I don't value as much as the other ones. So to kick it off with one I absolutely love, and the reason I love it is because they make some of the best daily sipping bourbons, and that is bonded bourbon. So bonded bourbons, just like this Wilderness Trail bonded I have here, are some of my favorite types of whiskeys, just because bonded has quite a few different things about it that make it a really well-rounded daily sipping type bourbon. They're all at least 4 years old, they're all at 100 proof, and because they're all just at least 4-year-old 100 proof type whiskey, typically usually see them for a really reasonable price. Like, you're not seeing some insane like $100 bonded product, unless if it's craft. If it's craft, it's all crapshoot. But a lot of the bigger producers, this is one of, like, I would call this a moderate producer. This one's about $49.99. Most of them, even like Evan Williams bonded, that is like a $13 bottle. It's ridiculously cheap. So a lot of them, great sipping proof, like for like a daily type proof, great prices, and still a reasonable age statement to have some quality whiskey. And honestly, there's not a really bad bonded product out there. Most of the bonded whiskeys I've had, I think, are pretty solid. I don't actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know of a bad bonded bourbon out there. Of course, I could be 100% wrong with that, but I can't think of one at the moment. So let's just get into the next one, and that is going to be single barrels. Single barrels are some of my favorites as well, just because you get some weird, interesting stuff when you go into single barrels. So an issue with batch products, bigger type release products, is you don't get a lot of the nuances or kind of the one-off weird kind of flyer type flavor profiles, which sometimes those are the funnest, most interesting type of flavors you're going to get. So we'll take this Knob Creek 9-year-old single barrel reserve, for example. These are all single barrels. And I'll be honest, a lot of just the normal non-pick ones are pretty consistently solid, but a lot of the picks, you'll see different ages. You'll still see only the 120 proof, but because you see different ages or different barrels, you're going to get different kinds of sides of that Knob Creek that you're not used to. You're going to get one that's a little bit fruitier, maybe one that's a little bit nuttier, maybe one that's a little bit sweeter, and you're going to see different kinds of stuff you typically will not see. And by weird, I don't mean bad, I just mean different, abnormal, kind of flyer type things. Again, Knob Creek, those are pretty consistent single barrels. You're going to get some consistent single barrels with a lot of products like the Four Roses single barrel, so on and so forth. But I really think single barrels are very important because you can see some stuff that you're not going to see in a batch product. And that's another thing with single barrels is you can get a lot of picks. So it's really fun to compare different kinds of single barrels against each other, different kinds of picks. And that's something I find super, super interesting. But moving on past single barrels, past some picks, even though the next one that I'm going to bring up is a pick, barrel proof cask strength offerings. So for example, this bad boy, this Jeppson's single barrel pick. This is a cask strength single barrel cognac finished pick. This is phenomenal. 6.5-year-old cognac finished pick. Freaking love this bottle. But you need something at high proof. I don't always drink things at super ridiculously high proof, but I think a type of bourbon that you need is 100% going to be a high proof type whiskey, because high proof whiskey is where you kind of see unfiltered, you see unadulterated, unchanged, so on and so forth. And I think that kind of really, really showcases what a bourbon truly is. Some of them are too hot. Some of them you might need to water down with a little bit of an ice cube or something of that nature. There's nothing wrong with that. I love that I can water it down myself if I choose to. And I love that I can have it at like this unfiltered cask strength, because you can always add more water, but you can never take it away. So you 100% need a cask strength offering in your collection. And then next, one you probably saw coming from a while away due to the bottle I just pulled up, you need something that's finished. Again, that Jeppson's Storytime Cognac Finished pick. That is a finished cognac pick. A lot of the reasons I really love a lot of finished stuff is going back to what I was talking about with the single barrels, is you're gonna get different kinds of stuff. The more you do to a whiskey, which I know not everyone loves, but the more you do to a whiskey, the more different kinds of things you're gonna see come out of it. And you might like some of those things, given some might be a fail. I've had some tequila finished stuff, god awful. Do not like it. Not really fun, not really interesting, hard pass on that. But like that cognac finish pick, a lot of the sherry, oh my God. Sherry finished bourbons, so ridiculously good. But finished bourbon is a must have because you can see different kinds of things and experience more and more. Again, going back to the single barrel, it's fun to experience more things, and you don't really get to see too much of a flavor variance inside the bourbon world unless if you go super high aged, super cask strength, or if you start finishing things. Which leads me into my next one on the same exact topic slash tangent. We are talking age stated. You need an age stated type whiskey. So I'll take this Knob Creek again, for example. This has a 9 here on it. 9. So that means that the minimum age of this barrel, which this is a single barrel, so it's just one, is at least 9 years old. If it was a blended product, which I did not pull out an age stated blended product, but like, so for example, the Calumet 15s and all, those have a giant 15 on it. That means the youngest barrel that was put into that batch was 15 years old, which can sometimes mean that there's some 16, 17, so on and so forth, ultra aged type whiskeys in there. The main reason I think that you need an age stated product isn't for the younger stuff. You know, when you see 5, 6 years old on a bottle, it's not as prestigious. But if you see like a 12, even 9, 12, 15, 16, that's a prestigious age statement. That's a big boy age statement. And the reason I think you need an age stated bottle, or even more apropos, ultra aged or like kind of like an older age stated bottle, is because just going back to everything else, you get different kinds of experiences, different kinds of flavors at higher aged bourbons, just like you do with single barrel products, as well as different kinds of finished products. And again, leaning all back into the same thing, it's fun to try new things. And last but surely not least, toasted bottles. Toasted whiskey. Toasted whiskey is similar to finishing in a way, but you're finishing it in a toasted barrel, and you get some really, really nice sweetness out of a toasted product. I know this is a video on bourbon, but like, for example, the Sagamore Spirits Double Oaked, oh my God, that is one of the best ryes out there for like that $50 range. That is a monster of a rye. 1910, my favorite Old Forester product. Just like the toastiness, the marshmallow, the fluff, the vanilla, you know, the Woodford Double Oaked, like the Werther's Original. It's sweet. It's awesome. And that's not always my go-to flavor profile in a whiskey. That being said, if you want something that's sweet and approachable, those are some of the best bottles to go for. So just to recap, these are the 6 types of whiskeys that I think you need in your collection no matter what. And again, that is single barrels. You need some single barrels. You need a bonded product. You need a barrel proof product. You need an age-stated product, you need a finished product, as well as a toasted product, because that's going to give you a really well-rounded collection. Yes, there are other things you can add into this to even round it out even more, but those are the 6 types of whiskeys I personally would gravitate towards and have in my collection over anything else. Again, that is a wrap for today's video, though. Please do me that favor, like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out a ton, and we seriously appreciate the support. Let me know down below what you thought about my 6, as well as what would you add or remove. You know, what would you change? Let me know down below. Also, check out the Facebook, Instagram, and the Patreon. Links for all that stuff are down there below. That is a wrap for today's video. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you later.